what you doing? I'm your Otakutainment. This is with this Otakutainment reviews. I'm kidding, I don't run, but I am talking about a new running manga called Ekiden Bros by Daiki Nono, who is known for mainly all I could find was a couple one-shots, Akatsuki Cho no Santa Claus and Curtain Call. The translation is by Melissa Tanaka with lettering by Phil Christie. This is Stage 1 Nobunaga and the 48 Bros, which came out on June 29, 2025 in Weekly Shonen Jump / Manga Plus. It is a typical 55 pages, but it is dense. A lot going on in this, but I'm not a huge sports person, so not something I'm entirely into, but it seems like it would at least be a more heartfelt, like nice story to just follow along with regardless. So let's go over the summary for this series. Nobunaga grew up at a dormitory full of long distance runners training for the Ekiden Marathon. He dreams of becoming a runner but struggles to take the first step. But when he gets pulled into a race at school, he'll catch the attention of the running club. Now here's the thing, a little misleading with the summary, or at least it's not in exact order. Nobunaga doesn't actually dream of being a runner yet. Mainly, idolizes runners, really fascinating with especially long distance running, but doesn't want to run at all until, of course, the end of this chapter. The other thing is, yes, there's a race, and that's what gets Nobunaga into running more, but it's already had the attention of the running club, at least the university one. It doesn't show anything if it's more the high school club yet, but already had a lot of attention because Nobunaga's the son of a racing coach. So going through it, like I said, it's a dense chapter. There's a lot they try to cram into it, but I'm not really into running. I don't really run. I used to a little bit. I'm surrounded by people who run a lot. I'm kind of tired of hearing about it. I have no problem with running, but just sports in general and sports stories, I'm not that into, and this one was no exception. However, it does kind of seem like it's going to be more of like a heartfelt, more slice of life, if anything, kind of story following Nobunaga and the 48 Bros, who we actually don't meet. Or that's lawbird. It's hard to say the chapter title because it's Nobunaga and the 48 Bros. Sounds like it's going to be like a harem BL. Maybe it still will be. Or if not, just some kind of weird porn. It's running, it's sports, it'll be fine. I just don't think that will actually be the entire focus of this. I think is just being thing and backdrop, an excuse for this more, like I said, slice of life, relationship building, getting to know characters more than the event kind of story. So we're of course following the main character, Nobunaga Kazama, the first year at Makita High School. Like I kind of said going over the summary, really admires running, especially long distance, but doesn't really run. A lot of people keep trying to get Nobunaga to, but it's just like, whatever, just watch. I'm literally just watching. A lot of times it's supposed to be doing something else, and then it ends up just watching people running by. A lot of the focus, whether it's specifically Nobunaga that has a fascination with the Tokyo Hakone University Ekiden, or if it's just the focus for this story and it's being portrayed through Nobunaga. But what Ekiden is, specifically this one, is a 270-kilometer relay race from Tokyo to Hakone and back, or vice versa. Just a long distance race. Something I've never really heard of, and interesting that it's not something you see more. I guess more in the US, it's more just about straight up marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks. I don't really hear of long distance relay races. Of course, I don't keep up with that much, so maybe it's more common than I realized. So Nobunaga also lives in the Ryusei dormitory for the Seitoku University track and field team. Another reason a lot of people push Nobunaga run or surprised Nobunaga doesn't run. Supposedly, and I'm assuming there's 58 other bros or other runners that live here. We actually don't know. We see a handful in the background. We only really see Nobunaga interact with two, and then one specifically that has a relationship, it seems, or some familiarity with Nobunaga. But it's also Nobunaga's father is the coach, mother is the dorm mother, and also helps around a lot, even tutors some of these university students, even though Nobunaga's still in high school. And it's also just a way this helping to show Nobunaga's concentration mode, really hyper focusing, a thing that is common with ADHD or ADD, just hyper focus on one thing but seems to want to do a lot of other things, and this focus seems to shift to different things. One hobby, I guess, for a while, and then switch around a lot. Would make sense. Maybe running will be another one of the things, or maybe running will be the thing Nobunaga can focus on and keep focusing on, and finally just stick to that. But then there is a 10 kilometers endurance race coming up for the high school, where Nobunaga gets one of the university students, also one of the main other characters we focus on, Kazuki Kenzaki, who is a freshman track and field long-running ace at Seitoku University. Seems to be the closest to Nobunaga. We get more interaction with Kazuki than anyone else, and not even the parents. No one else of these other bros we may meet, which I'm assuming we actually are going to meet throughout the series, and ends up helping Nobunaga train for this 10K coming up. It also shows, and just another thing that seems to be packed in here, which you think would have been added later, or a different plot for a different arc, or it already shows this Ekiden going on in this first chapter, which Kazuki's the main reason Seitoku wins after a lot of doubt. Just, it seems like nobody thought Seitoku will finally win this thing, especially one of the friends / antagonistic people for Nobunaga, whose name is Hirano. Apparently they were in the running club together since elementary school. Nobunaga seems fine. Hirano seems to keep wanting to butt heads, and I'm thinking it's because Hirano has bigger expectations for Nobunaga, and Nobunaga seems to just not really care or do much when it comes to running. I think it's just Hirano's more upset of the potential that's not being accessed. But when it comes to this 10K race that they're finally going to have, I think it happens about a month later after the Ekiden. They're pretty much facing each other. Hirano apparently has still been doing sprint races, while Nobunaga hasn't. But Nobunaga does, during this race, go into a limit-breaking hyperfocus. Yeah, cool. Kind of trying to be a cool, dramatic, or at least a well-drawn scene. It's fine. It's running. I don't know. And then they try to make it like a dramatic finish, but Nobunaga gets 19th and Hirano gets 20th. Neither of them close to winning. You do all this for like a lackluster finish. And listen, finishing any kind of race, especially a 10K. I mean, I mainly only see 5Ks, right? I mean, I still don't want to do those. So yeah, finishing a 10K, impressive anyways. But when you're building it up like this, and it seems like it's going to be tense, and like, Hirano's already still been running, and then they only get 19th and 20th. It's like, okay, well, at least be higher up. I don't know. And then the summary says, catch the attention of the running club. If it is the running club Nobunaga's getting the attention of, why? You're only 19th. Maybe it's because of Hirano, but I thought they'd be faster. And this is like the whole high school. It's not even like it's the whole town or the university or anything. So, okay, cool. I feel like it's maybe a little too dramatic for now, but I guess Nobunaga's point of view, it really would be. Because at the end of this race, Nobunaga just exclaims about loving running so much. Hirano even apologizes for pretty much all the antagonistic stuff that kept happening. And then it ends with Nobunaga looking forward to competing against everyone, even the parents. Parents were specifically pointed out, don't know why, but it also says everyone. And that's the end of the chapter. So there's a lot in it. It's very easily simplified down, at least the events. I feel like this story is really going to focus on the characters. It must have to. I'm a little disappointed Hirano didn't get an actual introduction, just kind of was thrown in, even though Hirano has a lot of personality too. So, but that's fine. There's apparently, I'm assuming, 47 other bros are going to be meeting as the story goes by. Maybe they're not all part of the... Well, they must be part of the dorms, because why would the first chapter be called Nobunaga and the 48 Bros since the focus was a lot on the dormitory, but we only meet two of them, really, that interact with Nobunaga. Only get the name of one, unless I missed the other one. And then the only other character is another runner from the high school. So, we'll see. Regardless, I'm sure it's going to be more about getting to know characters than the actual running. One last thing. I sometimes forget to mention art, but this art stuck out to me. Not because anything was, like, exceptional. It's not. It's fine. It's kind of cutesy. It's not as, like, gritty like the baseball manga that just came out. It just... another reason I think it's not going to focus so much on the sports aspect of it, more on the characters, and also more the like a living together kind of series, and like the hostel living, or there was another Jump series not that long ago about the kids with powers living together, kind of like that. I feel like it's going to be something more like that. The art that stood out to me is the faces are weird. They're not bad, but I look at them and they just don't look like they fit. They look like someone else in a completely different style came in and drew the faces. And I don't know, because I'm like, is it kind of more Western-y kind of faces, but it's like, it's still really close to anime faces. So my only thing is like, maybe someone else just did the faces, or this artist just isn't great with faces or consistent faces. I don't know. I know someone whose art style, and not an anime art style at all, reminds me a lot of these faces. And I think that's what throws me off, maybe, and it's more just a personal opinion. But the faces just, I don't know. There's something about them to me that. But the rest of the art is like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That's typical manga art. So like I like to do with everything, the title, pretty self-explanatory. Now that I pretty much already covered it, the Ekiden is the race. The bros are going to be all the people. Like the other reason I think this is going to focus more on characters in the race, because there's apparently 48 other bros. I know that's in the chapter title, which introduces Nobunaga and only one. So, you know, I mean, simple titles. Are we actually going to meet all these other people? I don't know. But I'm still sure it'll play into whatever the actual plot of the story is going to be. But that's all I have to say about Ekiden Bros by Daiki Nono. It's a sports, it's a running, it's a whatever kind of manga. I'll follow it regardless, but I don't think too much is going to be happening with it. But if you disagree or you like it, you want to just talk more, complain more about it, do that in the comments. Follow me on social media. Email me at theacstories@gmail.com, or join my Discord. We can talk about all kinds of stuff there. Links will be in the description. Easy to find. But thank you to anyone who watched. Thank you especially to my Ko-fi and Patreon supporters, Vic Slab and Julio Vasquez. If you want to help support me on there, you don't have to, but I appreciate it either way. You get access to these notes, these shoutouts, my stories, all kinds of other stuff. But that's going to be it for this Otakutainment Reviews. I've been your Otakutainer, the AC Stories. Until next time, I'll maybe go have a run. We'll see if I ever do. Bye.